I'm going back to school.
Should you go back to college? If you're over 30 and you didn't go to college and you're deciding to go back to college, well, this is the video for you. Welcome back, Daredevils, to Dare to Live Delicious. What you'll find is that there are a lot of parameters to answer the question whether or not you need to go back to college. And for a lot of high school students, this transition is easier.
After that, all Patrick could talk about was college and all their futures.
They know what to expect. They know that demands on their time are going to be high, and that's all they have to do. That's all they have the time to do. If you're 30 or older, you may not have expected to be going backwards where someone else has demands on your time other than your family or your job. The demands on your time can be jolting. So you have to mentally prepare to shift from you just being able to do what you want with your time to you committing time to studying on a regular basis and meeting the demands of a student. That's the mental preparation that you have to put in. You need to look at your why. Why are you going back to school? Are you going back to school to meet a need? Are you going back to school just to fulfill an old dream? Or are you going back to school to get more money on your job? All these things will matter. And are you going to do it part-time or full-time? So once you determine why you're going back to school, then you can determine whether or not you should be going back to school at this period of time in your life. Do you have so many demands on your time other than school that it's going to make it impossible for you to be a good student? Or do you have things already out the way? Maybe you're retired. Maybe you just quit your job, or maybe you've been let go. Maybe you need to level up on your skills. You have to determine your why, and then you can identify what school you need to go to. Choosing a school can be a bit of a challenge as well. Once you figured out your why, you know what you're going to do. Once you know what you're going to major in, then you have to find a school
to meet my personal needs.
Means if you want to be pre-med, if you want to be a lawyer, you'll need to focus on schools that will help strengthen your application to those professional programs. If you want to be a chef, you may want to go to a school that is great at being a chef. Also, look at their matriculation rate and where their students are going after school. That's how you're going to choose a school. You got to look and see where those students are going. If most of their students are failing out, then they're probably not. And remember, location is important depending on your need at the time. If you're a mom or a dad and picking up the kids or going to their sport events or something family related is a factor, then you're going to want to make sure that your school is located in a radius that meet family needs as well as meet your student needs.
It's all about location, location, location.
The other thing you got to figure out is if you're going to be able to carve out time in your day. Are you going to be able to commit to being a student? And that means protected time. Nobody's allowed to knock on your door, and you've had this conversation. And that also brings me to the point where, is your family on board? If your family is not on board, they can sabotage you even if they are not meaning to. I have an aunt who is a great nurse, and this is something that she was a great nurse who continually went back to school over time. And one of the things she found it hard to do was to find protected time.
Do not disturb.
She had to make sure she had that protected time, and she demanded it by just kind of going her separate way for a couple of hours a day and then coming back home. Otherwise, her kids would have demanded too much of her time. They're kids. They don't know that mommy needs protected time.
Mine!
You're now ready to make your checklist.
The checklist complete? Yeah.
So your list will not be just pros and cons. Your list will be more like, can I meet the demands of a student? And here are the things that need to be in place. If these things are in place, then by all means, go for it. At what you're trying to achieve, then that may be something you need to consider. You don't want to start a program that you're setting yourself up to fail. Not that you cannot do it, but if you don't have the parameters when you have a busy life, once you've created a life, the thing that college students that are younger have on older adults is that they don't have all these obligations. They don't have obligations to children. They don't have bills that they have to worry about, and they don't have spouses, etc., etc. If you are free from a lot of those things, you may find that it's easier to go back to college. So if it's a dream you want, yes, yes, yes. Here's a final thought I'll leave you with. Look at how much it's going to cost. If you don't have a scholarship, if you can't get somebody to pay for it at work, you might want to look at the benefit to cost ratio. Look at your return on your investment. If you are putting in $40,000 and your ultimate job only allows you to make $20,000, that's not a good return on your investment. You might want to look into a career that is going to allow you to make more. But if you have money in the bank and you have it to spend or you have it to blow, if you have money in the bank that you've saved up for this experience and it's something you want to do, definitely follow your heart. But if you want to think about this practically, then these are the things that you need to think about. And I would never say don't go to college. I would say go to college under the best circumstances.
Message.
Some other things to consider if you're going back to school: you're going to be in classes with a lot of younger people. If that doesn't bother you, go back to school. You're going to have demands on your time that you're not going to like. If that doesn't bother you, go back to school. You're going to change the way you live. If that doesn't bother you, go back to school. And if you're not doing this out of your pocket, if that doesn't bother you, go back to school. And we can talk in more in depth about which school you should choose. I just gave you some earlier examples about how to choose a school, but really you need to find these things. These things are a little more important to you, because choosing a school to fit your needs where you are is a little difficult. Most people kind of travel, and if you have the opportunity to do that, let's do it. I hope that helps you make a decision. If you have any questions for me, leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video and tell your friends. It really helps a lot. I will talk to you soon. My name's Delisha. On my friends call me D. I dare you to go out there and do something delicious. Like go fill out some more applications. Like go back to school. It sounds fun. Go back to school. I'm all for it. Go back to school. I'm on your team. Wah, rah, shish, kumbah.